Local presentation of Read About It is made possible in part by a grant from Cox Communications of Oklahoma City, proud sponsor of this effort to promote reading, education, and literacy in our community.
Woody Guthrie will be the topic on Read About It tonight. Hi, I'm BJ Williams. With me is Mary Jo Guthrie Edgmond and Mary Ann Blahoyak. They're talking about Mary Jo's book, My Favorite Things About My Brother Woody Guthrie. Susie Beasley will be talking with Ruby Soutier. Kids Corner will feature Heidi Johnson. We also have Doug Benton, Clyde Martin, and Bud Bunkris. Coming up, Mary Jo and Mary Ann.
The following public service program is brought to you by the Metropolitan Library System. And now, Read About It, with your host, BJ Williams.
With me today is Mary Jo Guthrie Edgmond. She is the author of My Favorite Things About My Brother Woody Guthrie. Also with me is Mary Ann Blahoyak of the Oklahoma Historical Society. She was also the editor and designer of this book. And ladies, I'm going to ask my favorite question, which is what really inspired you to put this book together?
I have all this material stored in a bank box, and I've been doing programs all over, everywhere with it, exhibits. And I decided that I was getting kind of tired of doing that, and why not put this in a book? And I thought about a coffee table album, just showing every one of Woody's letters with my explanation about it. So I don't know what made me go to the Historical Society, but I did because Bob Blackburn is a friend of mine, and he just took me under his wing and brought this lovely lady in, and she went with it, and here I am. And it was just great the way they made it happen.
Well, obviously, it couldn't have happened if you hadn't preserved all of these things that you've gotten from your brother. Obviously, you started keeping things just as soon as he started sending them to you.
Oh, I did. I've never thrown away a piece of paper had his name on it. And my other brothers, too.
Okay. And I understand in the book that you also got all of the letters that Woody had written to his father as well.
I have that. Now, I have envelopes for every one of these letters. They're preserved also.
Mm-hmm. So it was quite a test that Mary Ann had. I mean, that's not a 2,000-page book there, so you had to make some decisions, didn't you?
Exactly. And I will say that when Mary Jo contacted us last summer, we knew that we would be getting the Smithsonian Institution exhibit on Woody Guthrie at the State Museum of History beginning in February, and we wanted to produce an accompanying booklet to go with that kind of had a local slant or a local context. And everything just seemed to mesh after we saw the material that Mary Jo had. And as far as selecting the items, first of all, we knew we wanted to do it in 4-color. We wanted something that would show the diversity of the items that he created, something that would show the personal family side of Woody Guthrie. Everyone's familiar with the public image, the songwriter, the singer, the poet, the artist. And we wanted to show Woody the father, Woody the son, Woody the brother, and a side of Woody that most people would never know about. And we had wonderful examples of his creativity in corresponding with his family members.
I think one of the things that impressed me was making the cards. I mean, today a lot of people make cards because they've got these great computer programs and they just sit and punch a few buttons. But this man with this tremendous talent took the time to actually create his own cards to send to his family, which I think was another aspect of his creativity. But still, there are not many people engaged in their own lives who would take that much time for a younger sister.
Even his letters were created.
Well, I noticed there was one, wasn't it, that was written in several different styles of writing, and there are drawings on the edges and that sort of thing, which is, he must have just had creativity oozing out of every pore.
Exactly,
He wrote one letter, it was written in like slant, up and down, flat, printed, great big, all the way through, and every sentence was different, a different color. And I imagined a whole bevy of all these pencils. And in my exhibits, I asked the kids, how many of you would take that much time to write a letter to your sister?
Yeah, that is impressive.
Well, and today, letter writing is becoming a lost art, too, because
Absolutely.
people send emails and
Yes.
pick up the phone and call. And
Yeah.
during this period of time, letter writing was very popular, if you will. It was the common way people communicated. And then to go that extra step and make them colorful and unusual and unique, it's just a wonderful collection.
It really is, and I think it ties in nicely with, and we want to be sure and tell people that the exhibit at the museum is still going on, and in fact it will be through May the 4th is the day that it closes,
Exactly,
isn't it?
exactly.
And that is at the Oklahoma Museum of History right here in Oklahoma City, and all I can say is y'all come on down and take a look.
It's a wonderful exhibit. I think Oklahomans will learn a lot about Woody Guthrie and the talent that this man had.
And one of the things that you mention in the book, but I'm not sure that it can be illustrated very well, is this letter that you got. Now, this is Woody Guthrie, American Folk Song. So it's his songs, but he wrote...
He made that book.
He made the book, and then he wrote the letter along the margin. Each piece of paper has a sentence from the letter in it. And again, that's an indication of taking time.
Letters written on the margin of each page.
That's quite a bit.
And a double gift.
And yes,
Not
yes,
only a
indeed.
songbook, but a letter as well.
Now, I have another book just like that, but I laminated it, but this one I didn't, so I could show the writing on the margin.
And so you have, mostly what is featured in there is the letters to you, but you, as I mentioned earlier, you do have letters that he wrote to his father. And actually there's one page, now this appeals to me because I've got cats myself, but you started collecting cats, didn't you?
Figurines, yeah.
And you just sort of put out the word. And
Had a brother here and there in the United States, East Coast, West Coast, Central. I wanted a cat from him, and Woody sent me one, and the other brothers just didn't. I didn't hear from them, but I did Woody and my dad.
And those are both pictures of both of the
Marianne's got
figurines are in the book, as well as the letters that both of them sent. I noticed that you commented that Woody had gotten some of his talent, at least, from his dad, because you commented on the similarity of the letters.
The way their minds ran.
And the other thing I like about the book is that you do get some sense of the times, and it's not a biography in the usual sense, but you get a little bit of a feel for his life and for what was going on here in Oklahoma, really, during that period as well. So.
And the posters I'm doing the New York poster now, and it's his life in New York.
So
She does a series of posters on the different segments of his life. So she is a very talented, artistic lady as well.
She's the
so it
one that
runs in
told
the
me to
family.
put some of my art in the book. So I cut up one of the posters to get a little of it in there. But it depicts Woody's life from birth to death, and I'm just about halfway through with the New York poster.
now, are people able to get these posters?
We have them for sale at the bookstore in the museum, and also Marianne's books are there.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time, but I want to thank you both very much for being with us. And remind people we've had with us today Mary Jo Guthrie Edgman and Marianne Blahowiak. They've been talking about my favorite things about my brother Woody Guthrie. You can get this book at your library. You can also find it at the bookstore at the Oklahoma Museum of History. I hope you drop by and see the exhibit as well. Coming up next, we've got Susie Beasley. She'll be talking with Ruby Soutier about a book I think you'll find quite interesting. Ruby, what have you brought for us tonight?
I have brought a mystery called A Case to Answer by Margaret York, and to me, Margaret York is the premier author of British psychological thrillers. I know a lot of people say that Ruth Rendell is the queen of the British psychological mystery, but I think Margaret York is better.
Well, I get that feeling too because you have brought her books before, haven't you?
I have. I really enjoy her books, and this is her brand new book that just came out, I think, a month or two ago. And the thing that I really, really like about these books, especially this one, is she takes ordinary people and ordinary situations, and with a few little plot twists and turns, she turns them into something real exciting where you're never quite sure exactly what is going on. Now, in this particular book, the main character's name is Charlotte Frost, and she is a recent widow for the second time, and she has 2 stepchildren as well as her own children, and they are all grown, and she has 2 step-grandchildren that are twins, fraternal twins, and the girl, Imogene, has been sent in disgrace to stay with Charlotte.
Oh dear, this sounds like the makings for something either really relaxing or really awful.
It is really awful.
Oh dear.
And she has told her parents that she is pregnant, and she has been sent to stay with Charlotte. Charlotte is fairly new to this little British village that she's living in, but she has a really nice neighbor that befriends her. He is an ex-military man, and he's like in his 80s, I believe. He's quite old, but you really couldn't tell by the way he acts and the way he looks. He's quite active. And they become friends, and he helps a little bit with Imogene. And it's just, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away the storyline, but there's also a little subplot involving a very charming young man named Jerry who has just been released from prison for theft. And he comes to Charlotte's front door as part of a scam where he tries to sell the elderly homeowner something at the front door while his mate breaks in the back door.
Okay, people are going to have to read the book to find out what happens there. The author and title again?
A Case to Answer by Margaret York.
And that can be found at your library and your favorite bookstore.
We are more than 300 strong. We are diverse from all walks of life. We are musicians. We are teachers. We are computer experts and business leaders, each with the same goal, to meet the information needs of the people of Oklahoma County. We are the librarians of the Metropolitan Library System. How can we help you?
I have a couple of books I think you might enjoy. This first one is, you might think a little bit late for the season since it is starting to warm up. It's called The Big Book of Soups and Stews, 262 Recipes for Serious Comfort Food. It's by Mariana Volstedt. Do remember that a number of soups can be served chilled, and there are several in this book as well. Now, Volstedt wrote the best-selling Big Book of Casseroles, and this new book of hers just continues that fine and delicious work. These are easy recipes. Each recipe is complete on one page. What I found most interesting were the early chapters on cooking, on herbs and spices, and also on breads that can be used to accompany the soups. Now there are soups, chowders, stews, and bisques. Some of them are just good old American cooking, the comfort food that most of us grew up on, but there are a number that have international flavors inspired by the cuisine of such countries as Greece, India, France, and Russia. The ones that intrigued me for our upcoming spring and summer season are the cool cucumber and avocado soup, or the gazpacho gazpacho. There are also a number of chilled fruit soups, which actually can be served at any time of day. Some of them sound like they would make an absolutely scrumptious breakfast. Now, the one caveat I have about this book is that there are no indications of calories, no breakdown into fat or anything like that. But anyone who has done a little bit of cooking can get a pretty good idea of how low fat or high fat one of these recipes is going to be. So I would recommend, if you like your comfort food, take a look at the Big Book of Soups and Stews, 262 recipes for serious comfort food. Now, this next book is actually a catalog of an exhibit that will open shortly at the Nelson Atkins Museum in Kansas City. It is called Eternal Egypt, Masterworks of Ancient Art from the British Museum. Now, the British Museum has one of the best collections of Egyptian art outside of Egypt itself. I would recommend it if you're at all interested in art. The sidebars are written by a selection of experts from all over the world. The pictures are very good, and they are mostly of sculpture, but if you're interested in Egyptian art, this is a book to take a look at. Coming up next, we have Kids Corner. Kelly Rhea will be talking with Heidi Johnson about a book just for our very young people.
Come on, puppy! Today's first book that we'll talk about is about a dog named Widget. Isn't that right?
That's right. Widget, unfortunately, is a homeless dog when the book starts, and he finds this house that smells wonderful and delicious, except there are 6 kitties already inside the house, and the lady that runs the house doesn't think Widget really would fit in too well with her 6 girls. However, Widget really tries like anything to make himself a place in this house.
Aww.
He starts meowing like a kitty.
This dog will meow.
This dog will meow. He uses the litter box. He plays with a toy cat.
What a perfect doggy.
And so he finally wins him over. They put it down a football for him, and Widget becomes part of the household.
And what age is this book geared toward?
This one is for very early readers or for parents to read with their children. And the way it ends up, the lady falls ill, nobody listens to the cats. So Widget remembers he is a dog and he barks, and all the kitties bark along with Widget.
Oh, what a wonderful
and
story.
save the lady's life.
Oh,
and
I'm going to have to stop you, though, because I want everyone to go find Widget. It's by
great.
Lynn McFarlane, and you can find it at your local bookstore or at your favorite library. And Heidi has another book for us today as well.
This one I just absolutely fell in love with. It's called Gus and Button. And what it is, it's a whole book made of, all the pictures are made from fruits and vegetables.
Oh, that's a nice intro for fruits and vegetables for kids.
Isn't it though? It is just great. It has wonderful pictures, a marvelous story. It has adventures of them going through the woods and discovering all of these creatures and finding new friends on the road. And all of the friends are made from oranges, from apples, from mushrooms, from green peas. And it's just wonderful the way it's done.
Well, and it kind of introduces kids to what different fruits and vegetables are, and that they're really friendly because they're not familiar sometimes with different kinds of fruits
and it has in the very back, it gives a list the characters in order of appearance, and there it talks about, you know, the mushrooms and the black-eyed peas and the Brussels sprouts and broccoli and oranges, and it's really a marvelous way to discover all the different varieties of fruits and vegetables that there are out there.
And they have a wonderful story.
Yes, it is, and at the end, a happy ending, and everybody made new friends and is having a great time, and it's just a wonderful picture book to look at.
Oh, well, we hope you'll look for it. It's called Gus and Button. It's by Saxon Freeman and Joost Elfers. You can find it at your local bookstore or at your favorite library.
Thanks, Kelly and Heidi. It's time to do the New York Times bestseller list. We'll start out with hardback fiction. Number 10 on that list is 3 Weeks in Paris by Barbara Taylor Bradford, The Nanny Diaries by Emma McLaughlin and Nicola Krauss, Hunting Season by Nevada Barr, The English Assassin by Daniel Silva, The Diary of Ellen Rimbauer, edited by Joyce Reardon, Journey Through Heart Songs, written and illustrated by Maddie Stepanek, Upcountry by Nelson DeMille, The Cottage by Danielle Steele. Number 2 is The Summons by John Grisham. And number 1 is Second Chance by James Patterson with Andrew Gross. On the nonfiction list, number 10 is Nigger by Randall Kennedy. What Went Wrong by Bernard Lewis. The Bureau and the Mole by David Weiss. Sacred Contacts by Carolyn Miss. One Nation by the editors of Life magazine. Driver Number 8 by Dale Earnhardt Jr. with Jade Gers. Shakedown by Kenneth Timmerman. Shadow Warriors by Tom Clancy with Carl Steiner and Tony Colts. Bias by Bernard Goldberg is number 2, and number 1 is Stupid White Men by Michael Moore. On the children's list, number 10 is Instant Boyfriend by Megan Stein, The Case of the Mall Mystery by Alice Leonhardt, Captain Underpants and the Wrath of the Wicked Wedgie Woman by Dav Pilkey, The Berenstain Bears and the Real Easter Eggs, written and illustrated by Stan and Jan Berenstain, Return to Neverland, Random House Pictureback, Bob's Egg Hunt by Annie Auerbach, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. Number 2 is Harry Potter and the Prisoners of Azkaban, and number 1 is The Adventures of Super Diaper Baby by George Beard and Harold Hutchins. Coming up next, we have Doug Benton of the Metropolitan Library System. He'll be talking with Clyde Martin, the renowned radio opera host and actor, and they've got a book they'd really like to share with you.
Thanks. Hello again, everybody. I'm here with Clyde Martin. And Clyde, you've got a book called the Merriam-Webster Dictionary of American Writers.
Yes.
Now, we don't usually associate you with literature unless it's in a play script form.
Yes, but you know I watch television.
Well, what has this got to do
with television? All right. This is the companion volume to C-SPAN series on American writers, which they did part of last year. They began with the very early writers in American history, and they came forward and they got as far as actually as Will Rogers.
I saw the Will Rogers.
And they had to stop because it was September 11th.
Oh.
And they have not done any since then, but they're going to pick them up at that point and complete them this spring. It's an excellent series, as you know, because they go to the location where either there is a museum or a memorial or something about a particular writer. Now, there were criticisms that a number of very first-rate writers were left out, like Melville, for instance. Well, they said the reason they did that was they only used writers who really reflected American history or American culture or so on. Now, that doesn't apply to this volume. Everybody is in here, Melville included. Also in here, there are a number of people, and some of those were on the C-SPAN series that you wouldn't consider as writers.
Well, see, Will Rogers would be one.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't think
we think of Will Rogers
and
as
several
a writer.
presidents, Theodore Roosevelt, Jefferson, Lincoln, several that they wrote, yes, they didn't write books especially, but they wrote the Declaration of Independence and things like that. But this has them all in here, including like Black Elk, who could not write his name, but he told his stories, and they were then, transcribed into a book form of the history of Little Bighorn and all that. So everybody is in here, whether they were in the C-SPAN series or not.
Okay. And it says it's a dictionary, so it's alphabetical order.
Well, the first part are the authors. The second part, it's in 3 parts. The second part are the works themselves. You would, for instance, I think Abe Lincoln in Illinois is the first one. And by the way, it includes not only writers of books, but playwrights and,
poets probably too.
Yes. And then the last part are oral things like the Algonquin Round Table.
Oh, that would be fun.
And the New Yorker and the Saturday Review of Literature and things like that. So it's a wonderful thing just to sit down and browse through.
Browse through. Thank you. Again, it's the Merriam-Webster Dictionary of American Writers. Clyde, thank you for bringing that in for us.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Doug and Clyde. After this break, we'll be back with Raymond Munkris, a local attorney.
If you spend 15 minutes a day reading to a child, you're doing more than reading. You're building a bond that lasts a lifetime. Hi, I'm Penny McCaleb, Chairman of your Metropolitan Library Commission, and I urge you to read to your children. Not only will they learn to love reading, they will also become better students. Our children's librarians will be happy to help you select just the right book. The next time your child hands you a book, take the time to read. You'll both be glad you did.
Okay, Bud, what have you brought for us tonight?
Well, it's called Atonement. It's by Ian McEwan.
And it's actually won the Booker Prize in England, hasn't it?
Yes, that's right. McEwan is a very well-known writer in Britain and among literate people in the United States as well. And this book, Atonement, has gotten extremely good reviews. Just recently I heard reviews on National Public Radio, and also I noticed Newsweek had a very positive review of the book.
Did it live up to its reviews?
Well, I just finished reading it and haven't finished thinking about it yet. It's a book that you can easily imagine ending up on a reading list for a contemporary English novel. At the same time, it's not really a literary book in the sense that only English majors would enjoy it. In fact, anybody who's interested in writing or reading, I think should buy the book just to see the craftsmanship of a genuinely gifted writer. McEwan is an incredible craftsman. I know writing teachers used to stress point of view, and they may still for all that matters, but you might say that the theme of this book is point of view. Not only physically, for example, he frequently has characters looking out a window, then the character walks downstairs out on the lawn, turns around, looks back at the house from which he was just looking. People move around, turn around. So it's kind of recursive physically in that sense. But also there's the sense of point of view that relates to how people see things and how people view things. There's a central tragedy in the book which results from misperception on the part of a child. We don't have to decide whether it was based on honest misperception and to what extent there was downright lying involved. I'm always amused at people who say, well, believe children, they don't lie, but they have experience of different children from the ones I had experience with, because there are some I know very well who would lie when the truth was better.
Yeah.
And so...
any parent knows that.
The people in the book are a well-to-do English family. The events take place before World War II and early in the war. These people are rich by any standard, and you expect to see a sort of novel about class. It's a novel in which class figures, but it's not really about class. It's a little bit surprising that people don't behave worse because of class distinctions.
Okay, can you give us the title and the author again,
Sure.
please?
It's Atonement. It's by Ian McEwan.
Thank you. And you can find this book at your local library and your favorite bookstore. And while you're at it, check out the Metropolitan Library System on the web. You can find us at www.metrolibrary.org. You can find out all about the library system, where our libraries are, when we're open, what programs we have going, and what books, videos, audios, and CDs you can check out. Thank you for being with us, and we hope we'll see you again next time.
Local presentation of Read About It is made possible in part by a grant from Cox Communications of Oklahoma City, proud sponsor of this effort to promote reading, education, and literacy in our community.